Lance by Chance. The untold story of him wrestling as a Von Erich. LanceByChance.com.
Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Wednesday, episode 20. I will be joined shortly by AJ Strangebrew and the man they call Dave, and tonight we will be doing a live 531 on the most disappointing debuts, as well as talking tomorrow night's Knockout TV episode and tonight's MLW, AEW, and NXT cards. Now, in addition to our Instagram and Twitter listed there, we are on Twitch, Fans Working. Our Facebook is the Working Fans Podcast Facebook page. Our email is workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. Our YouTube, youtube.com/c/workingfanswrestlingpod. Our website, workingfanspodcast.com. Now, our podcast schedule is our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday. Our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, any major podcast provider. The important thing you got to remember to do, please, is like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you can. Now that you know where to find us on social media, here is where to find the buzz.
In the hills with the stars, told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I go far. Oh, baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now.
Now, we are brought to you by 482 Designs. They didn't make this shirt. This is the OG version. They are FOUR82designs@gmail.com. They made the nice gray ones we have with the nice logo that you see up in the corner right here. Also, WrestleTopia. JD Sloan's been on the show. You can find them, WrestleTopia, on Facebook, at WrestleTopia on Twitter. You know Renegade Wrestling. Thursday night, 7 p.m. on all the Renegade Wrestling socials. That is Knockout TV episode 13. That will be cleared up shortly. You got to watch to see where this story is going. You saw the commercial at the top of the show. Friend of the show, author Vinnie Berry, wrote a book with Kevin Vaughn called Lance by Chance. That's how Kevin Vaughn became Lance Von Erich and then Lance Vaughn. I actually should have said he wrote it with Lance Vaughn, because this covers how Kevin Vaughn got into the wrestling business, became Lance Von Erich, and then the interesting life that he has led after that. Anybody can enjoy this book. I've said it multiple times. You all will love it. Now, before we get down to business with the guys, you know, we're at the Buzz. You're on their Facebook page right now. You're on their Twitter. You're on their YouTube if you're seeing us. Here is a commercial showing you the other great live shows that we have here at the Buzz. And after this is over, all the business is done. We will have the guys start our live 531.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you won't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance to top 10 when you getting clamped all night by your locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, what's the top dish? Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks.
Ooh.
Guys, welcome back. What we doing today?
Fired up.
If I was any better, I'd be Dave.
But you ain't, sucker. So you just got to settle for being you. Woo.
Can't
Now,
win-
AJ,
can't
before
win
we
'em
got
all.
started, you wanted to do a little promo read for us. So we get that spot before we kick into the big talk tonight.
Wait a minute. He going to do that little shirt dance where he took his shirt off again before for us?
Guys, the
Oh, no,
hottest
that's for
place-
Randy.
yeah.
Only we recorded.
Go ahead.
Guys, I think we can all agree the hottest independent wrestling right now out there in the state of Florida is all coming to you from Renegade Wrestling down there in Renegadeville or Leesburg, if you prefer, or whatever the hell they call that shithole down in Florida. However, it is still
Shout out to Florida.
Lake
however,
County.
it is, however, the best wrestling on the independents right now is Renegade Wrestling. And that if you want to be the hottest person and you want to have the latest gear, you've got to go to prowrestlingtees.com/RWA Florida and get all of your merch there. Get your t-shirts, support your boys, support independent wrestling down there, and support the working fans, which are the voice of Renegade Wrestling. So get out there and buy that merch.
Every time he says down there, I keep wanting to go down where? Down there. Sorry.
He only did that because he wanted to show off that Bret Hart t-shirt.
You got to check out, baby. The best there is, the best there was. Come on.
So this was also Dave's way of coming out of the closet.
Coming out of the closet. Well, all-time greats. You know it. All right. If you three
All right,
were
Randy
wrestling
Osgood hit us up with a comment earlier.
You wrestle AEW, WWE. So he wants to know where we're going to wrestle? If we could?
Yeah, I guess if we... I'm a little
If I
confused
had-
by this question.
If you three were wrestling today and had the same contract. Oh, so, okay. So if everything was the same money, same dates.
Where would you choose to wrestle?
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Dave, pick
Because
this one first, Dave.
I will. It can't be the same, right? So to me, whoever's going to provide me that point with the biggest national spotlight. So right now, nowadays, if it's again same schedule, same money, right? Then I would do WWE. However,
Johnny Burke.
if let's say AEW surpasses them in the next few years, let's say it does happen, right? Or any of these other companies, then I would pick them. So whoever's going to give me the biggest spotlight, being that everything will be the same, that's what I would pick. Now, because I don't have no fucking pride. So if anybody out there is a WWE mark or an
Dave, where the
AEW
fuck
mark,
do you want to wrestle? Jesus Christ.
no, I don't care. That's my point, right? Because no, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get so annoyed with this. Like, fans will be, oh, do you love the WWE? Do you love AEW? No, I want to know who's gonna fucking pay me. Who's gonna fucking? give me
He's
the money,
saying
man?
all the contracts are the same. So who has
Right.
the best? Who has the best creative, and where would you want to wrestle?
See, I never thought about creative. I just thought who give me the best spotlight.
Because you get the same money anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but who's
So
got the biggest TV deal?
I would want to go to New Japan. If I could choose one of those in a place where I could work and get the same amount of money, the same contract, the same everything, I would go to New Japan. I love that style of wrestling. I would love to do some strong style wrestling with them.
You know what?
Either that or NWA.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say if it's creative, sign me up for NWA, baby, off the cuff.
I was
going to
say I think so little of myself that I would want to start off at an MLW or an NWA because I don't think I have like that big a name. And like
I love you.
ideally, I'd like to work to New Japan, but I would probably just end up as like an Impact mid carder.
I love it.
Which is
It's
the
so
kind of
honest.
whole dream
It's so honest.
I
think so little of myself. Is there a real ringing endorsement? Billy Corgan signed this man right now. I
I,
think so little of myself to send me to the NWA.
I like the fact that his humility ended up being a slap in the face to MLW and NWA. I think so little of myself. I'd like to go to these two shit promotions.
Well, no, I would just
I
like
gotta go with Johnny Burke here.
you on like a major network. I'm not
Johnny's got the point,
Johnny.
though. I mean, at the end of the day, if everything's the same, it can't all be the same. You're going with visibility. So,
Yeah.
like, to me, that's got to be WWE or AEW. You know?
Zach St. John, Mrs. St. John's baby boys in the
Yeah,
house.
baby boy.
We just ruined his kid's dinner by talking about
My baby
how
boy.
little like my goals are.
Now that
He
being
might have
said,
missed
if you really want to be on the cutting edge, then you would choose to be part of Magnificent Mayhem in Renegade Wrestling.
That was
All
a
right,
good
Jamark,
recording
calm
we
down.
did, brother. Now, speaking of disappointing debuts, tonight
Yes.
is our
Segue.
live 531 of most disappointing debuts. We've never done this on the podcast,
No.
so I'm itching to hear what you guys got.
All right.
You guys mind if I kick this one off?
Kick it off.
Okay, first of all, to me, one of the most disappointing debuts of all
Oh,
time.
Sean Shamrock, he's a fellow podcaster there from.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And I also like the answer, too. Take the one with the least amount of work. My man. Guy after my own heart.
I was getting the least amount of work mid card and on Impact. I do that once a month, baby.
All right, Joe's humility aside. AJ, what do you have for a list?
So disappointing debuts. This is going to be one looking back on it. I know you can look at this two ways. If you were amped up for it and then you were fired up and then the drizzling shit showed up. So
Yeah, I
this is a
remember
little bit-
Saturday.
yeah, exactly. This is a little bit different. I'm taking this one as a debut who I think they could have done a lot better for because he's a great wrestler. Brian Kendrick. I don't know if you guys remember Brian Kendrick's debut with the WWE on SmackDown, but when he actually debuted, they brought him out as a like bellhop in like a old bellhop uniform and had him with the name Spanky and just had him get his ass kicked by Chris Jericho.
And he couldn't get that over? Whose fault is that?
Somehow he was, and that was with the Undertaker and Paul Heyman in that segment too. And he came out as Spanky, just absolutely god awful. That's another one here on my list is got to be Lord Tenzai. What they could have done with that gimmick and what they ended up doing with that gimmick are two different things. He went over there and wrestled as Saint Bernard and actually did an
No, he did not. Calm down.
Giant
Bernard.
I know it's
Bernard.
Saint Bernard is what we called you before we started taping, brother.
I was all smuggling. St. Bernard.
It sounded right for a second too. I was, yeah, no, that's definitely it.
Okay. Moving on. You got
he was
Tenzai, you got
But
Kendrick.
he was able to get over Giant Bernard, and he was able to actually really make that mean something in Japan. So what's the WWE do? They turn him into half Hakushi.
Yeah, put those Japanese symbols on him. The hell, you couldn't get that over?
Yeah, what they
What a
did with
bitch.
Matt Bloom was absolutely horrible.
Actually, he got a job still, so he's laughing at us.
Another one that was absolutely horrible, and this is going to hit home with Dave, Zeus. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Zeus is one of the worst debuts of all time.
Hit home. That hurt me. Why? I
I
don't
thought you
care
were gonna
about
say
that, man.
Pedro Morales or something, get him fired up about his people or something.
No, Pedro had a hell of a run in WWE, actually.
when they brought out Zeus after No Holds Barred, they brought him out like he was this giant monster of a man and gave him that ridiculous gimmick. It was one of the worst debuts of all time, in my opinion.
Thank God we were young enough to buy it back then.
I bought it.
Now-
Oh, this guy's scary.
Now it's
Now I
just
got-
hey, that's Debo.
Now I got to tell you another horrible debut, and this isn't going to be one individual person. When the WWE brought back ECW, the whole product on a whole is one of the worst debuts in the history. And if you need proof, just look at the zombie, for Christ's sake.
Oh, yeah, that zombie.
The ECW product on a whole, when the WWE debuted it, it just got awful and one of the worst debuts of all time.
that zombie
And-
was over in Florida. Go ahead.
Some say he still is. The number one on my list, worst debut of all time, the Gobbledygooker.
Okay.
People had so much speculation as to what that was going to be, and it ended up being freaking just one of the worst things on the planet, in my opinion.
All right, brother. You want me to go?
Put a list. That was definitely not Googled anywhere.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
I don't even know how to use the Google.
Okay.
Now I'll bring you my list next because I got the Shockmaster on top of it. I mean, that was just I wasn't so hyped for it, but you can't debut a character and have him fall on his face.
Fall
Like,
on his face.
his whole shit fell on his face. Then.
Yeah.
I think you can quietly hear Davey Boy in that too. Go. "He
Okay.
fucking fell."
Even if he doesn't fall on his face, he's coming out with a stormtrooper mask
Mm.
and Levi jeans.
Don't forget
Still,
about
we
that.
were young
fine-
enough to buy it back then.
Don't
It'd be
forget about
goofy
that
now.
fine ass fur coat he had. My boy was pimping. Fred Oatman in the house, baby.
Now, next, I got Paul White in AEW because it just didn't do it for me the other week. Like, I'm happy
Ooh.
to see him there, but you just slide that in. You don't put it on TV and then have him talk about another signing. Because then, if you're telling us about another debut, why am I sitting here watching your debut?
I
Now,
can see that.
Yeah.
my next one is David Arquette in a GCW ring. This was about the time that he was going around and trying to redeem his run in wrestling. Then he gets involved in a death match, gets stabbed with a light tube,
Mm.
and starts crying about it. Like he didn't know what he was signing up for.
That man is a former world's champion.
I mean,
Still,
he
it's
got
you're
stabbed
gonna
in the
make
neck.
yourself. Yeah, but he's also getting into a death match, and he's trying to redeem his name in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I would think, like if I'm gonna get in a wrestling ring, I'm gonna have enough respect for the business to not try and
I will say
do
that.
anything.
First of all, if you have enough respect for the business, are you doing a death match?
Here's the thing, too. If you go back and look at that opponent was changed on him. He had somebody else he was originally supposed to wrestle, and then they changed it. There was an injury or something happened. It was MDK. So he was like,
Yeah, you
wait.
get Nick Gage, you get what you get, but
Yeah.
I believe he was originally supposed to wrestle New Jack, wasn't he?
No, Hornswoggle, I think, actually.
now I got two more for you. I got Matt Cardona in AEW because when I first saw him come out, I was so excited. And then he did a couple more matches, and then he kind of disappeared. And that ruins that moment for me, just like the next one, the debut of the Exploding Ring in the U.S. Last Saturday was horseshit. And it's kind of like what that ring did for that event is the same way like Cardona never really showing back up in AEW affected my liking of his debut.
I will say this: hats off to you and AJ both picking random things, not just people. ECW and WWE, and then the Exploding Ring.
I
I
haven't
honestly
been.
thought everything was going to be WWE at first, but I can't remember a whole lot of bad WWE debuts. The Gobbledygookers probably.
Don't worry, I have some.
I haven't been that disappointed since every time my mom debuted a new stepdad.
We're not laughing at his misfortune. Give me your list.
I got your list here. I also have the Shockmaster. Now, here's something to point out. I'm a big believer when you're talking disappointing debuts, it's got to be somebody I'm really looking forward to. There's got to be some steam. That being said, that's not really the case with Shockmaster, but his debut was so damn bad, I had a hard time not putting him on the list. But believe me, no time in my life, even as a young kid, was I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the Shockmaster guy.
It'd be forgotten to time. Like we wouldn't be talking about him.
I wasn't disappointed by the Shockmaster because I had seen the Black Scorpion.
Yeah,
I true. You were more steeped in that.
Yeah, I almost put that on my list. I just because it was an angle, I had a real hard time with it, and it ends up being Flair. But it was so stupid. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. This one made my list. Glacier, because they took months to roll this motherfucker out. If you were around that time period watching WCW, it was like every week we were like, winter's coming. Oh, there's a storm brewing. Oh, cold is coming. And then this asshole comes out with this Mortal Kombat outfit with some fake-looking karate kicks.
It
Offense,
didn't-
Ray Boy. If
Wait
you're
a minute.
listening, I'm sure you're a great guy.
It also did not help the timing. The fact that they were building it up for months, and then 2 weeks before they debut the NWO.
Right. They had the most realistic angle they ever had, and then they brought out this comic book shit. It wasn't good. All right, here's one. Okay, I think AJ will agree with me. Even if you weren't a fan of The Ultimate Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior was a big deal for the time period he was in.
Yeah.
So needless to say, when Hulk Hogan and his team start saying, we have an ultimate surprise coming, we have this ultimate, and they start dropping every hint that the Ultimate Warrior is coming, and you bring out this guy called the Renegade, a knockoff Ultimate Warrior, shaking the ropes with half the physique. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Here's the real bad part. The real bad part is that he had half the work rate.
Now I got the Gobbly.
Saying something considering it's the Warrior.
I got Gobbledygooker as well, but
By the way, I happen to know that's Zach St. John's #1 favorite wrestler of all time, the Gobbledygooker.
I don't think it is. But last but not least, it's a tie, but really they're kind of my #1. Jim Ross is telling us how Razor Ramon and Diesel are coming back to WWE. Nobody knows what's going on. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are like, nope, we signed a contract. Jim Ross, one of the most respected men in the industry at this time, still is, was like, we got Razor Diesel. They're going to be here. They're going to be here. That's got me.
Way to bring it home, Jake. Way to bring it home.
But no.
Oh.
Instead, we got the fake Razor and the fake Diesel. So, to me, super disappointing. Not what I was, especially that fake Razor Ramon, too.
When you started that off, I thought you were going to say Jim Ross's debut at WrestleMania, 8?
Oh, with a toga. And that was 9.
Was it
I love
9?
that promo.
My
Because he
God.
talks about that with the Razor. And he's like, they put me in a toga. Oh, you look good in a toga, Jim Ross. Kiss my ass.
Open up back that toga.
All right, so we got to pick a top one out of this list. Shockmaster and Gobbledygooker made multiple lists, didn't they?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 2.
By the way,
Third. I think there was.
Shockmaster also Dave's nickname with peas.
Don't worry about peas. Can't fade the peas, brother.
All right, so who's gonna get in there as a third one?
I
That's
think
what you said.
I think ECW being part of the WWE's got to make that list. If that's not the worst debut.
I don't think we had a lot of other crossovers though, Dave.
We didn't.
Let's
What?
give it to ECW. I think that's disappointing enough because coming off that one night stand pay-per-view, I think everybody had higher hopes for the actual
All
brand.
right.
On a serious note, I want to ask you a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Have you known anybody? That's awesome. Have you known anybody who has ever been more disappointed than ECW fans with what the WWE handed them after one night stand and what they brought to the table, what they were calling ECW? Have you ever known anybody more disappointed than that? The
Yeah, I don't know.
ECW fans were
That's a good
rioting.
point.
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure some people.
Do you
are
have a better argument for something else to get into that third spot then, Dave?
No, I'll give it to the third spot. That's fine.
Okay, because I was like, I got nothing.
Guys, I want to bring something up here. Zach just mentioned the fact that Jake's favorite was PN News.
Was Zach
PN
mention
News-
that or did Jake mention that?
No, Zach just mentioned that, I think, down
Okay.
at the bottom after Jake
Yeah,
was
he
talking.
was trading barbs with Jake because.
All right.
But I want to mention PN News is also now one of Dave's favorites. So
Yeah. Tell me where that motherfucker is. I can't even find him. We're supposed to have an interview. I've been looking for him.
All right,
Maybe
so we
you know
don't
where he is.
shade on too many people, guys.
Talk
Let's-
about disappointed debuts. Where the hell
Let's
you at?
get down to tonight's
Paul.
shows.
Wait, we didn't
because-
pick a number 1.
wait a minute, we got to whittle down to one
he's-
here.
Yeah, all right. Joe's always jumping ahead.
I know, I was
God
moving
damn.
along because you were about to smite the good Paul News name.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah, Paul. Paul, where you at, Paul?
God damn, as always, producer Joe trying to finish quick.
To me, it's a Shockmaster though that wins the whole thing.
I think
wow, you're going right to
over Gobbledygooker.
I think Shockmaster is still talked about more to this day.
Really? Because I hear people like on the Undertaker documentary, people how terrified he was. that-
Undertaker, yes, because he thought he was going to get that spot. That's why he was. Dusty Rhodes still curses out Fred Oatman for that stuff. Fred Oatman's a bitch, baby. I can't believe
people-
he's part of my family.
But people thought that egg was either going to be Mark Callis or they thought it was going to be freaking Ric Flair, for Christ's sakes.
I didn't. I thought it was going to be bullshit. I knew that the whole time, even as a kid. I'm like, oh, it's a stupid egg.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to give it to the Shockmaster.
He deserves it.
I just don't think it's as clear cut as.
I
was gonna give it to the gobbledygooker because I think there was more build up and there was more hope.
Well, nobody expected
Wait a minute. Let us not forget Sting.
I think that's
that
a black
was also
scorpion.
the Scorpion, but that was also all we do with the Shockmaster too. Highs.
Only
Let's not
shocked
forget Sting's
everybody when he had
introduction.
personality.
Our partner is going to be shocking.
And then magically,
Davey Boy,
fireworks that went off when the Shockmaster fell on his face, were they better than the ones at the end of that AEW pay-per-view?
although Davey Boy Smith with the best line ever, he fucking fell.
You know what? If you want to give it to Gobbledygooker, though, I'm sold. I think about it. Fucking.
I like how you make this whole push, and then you're like, nah, man.
You know what? I just started picturing Hector Guerrero doing fucking tumble salts in the middle of the ring. And I'm like, you know what? Good
fuck
point.
you. We're going Shockmaster.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna move us along.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
actually,
start
hey,
talking-
real quick.
Ah.
Actually, this isn't on the schedule. I'm gonna fucking make you wait anyway. I want to say a shout out. One of my favorite female wrestlers of all time got her due in WWE Hall of Fame today. Holly. Congrats. And another rumor from a pretty reliable source, his daughter. So I hope it's true. Me and my boy Scott from Valentine were talking about this. The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith is heavily rumored to go into the Hall of Fame. Hope that's a fact because he also deserves it. So,
You know what you should have said before you said both of those, right?
I'm fucked.
Breaking news.
Oh,
brother.
breaking news.
You had breaking news and you didn't break it.
Now,
Listen,
do you
I ain't
think
trying to steal nobody's gimmick.
do you think Davey Boy Smith going into the Hall might have something to do with the fact that there's rumors that Davey Boy Smith Jr. is going back to the WWE?
You never know.
think
I never thought of it.
It's definitely coincidence and it could line up pretty well.
Yeah, you never know. So
I also breaking news. Breaking news, guys. I heard a rumor Becky Lynch is actually thinking about leaving the WWE for AEW.
It's a real rumor.
No.
Oh, okay. Fuck out of here.
How are you wasting our people's time? Now
Yeah, all right.
let's
MLW. Fuck this motherfucker. I'm pissed now.
MLW, they've got a good lineup tonight. They got Hammerstone versus LA Park for that national open weight title.
LA Park, one half of the world tag champs too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kevin
anytime Hammerstone's in a match, it's going to be a good match. Him and LA Park should tear the building down tonight.
Now you got Kevin Koo versus a returning ECH.
Yes, sir.
Gino Medina versus Gringo Loco.
Gringo Loco is a favorite. Love that guy. He probably will not beat Gino, but he's always seems to be in good matches. So
No, and then they've also got Leo Rush's special invitation tonight. Who's he going to extend it to? And PWI is going to list their top 5 middleweights.
Yeah, that's now. If we're now on top of that tonight, we got NXT. NXT to me might have the shortest preview, but it might be the most bang for the buck this tonight. And I hate to say that because, as you know, I'm usually AEW, but NXT tonight you got Adam Cole going head to head with Finn Balor for the NXT title.
Yep.
You've got Io Shirai going toe to toe with Toni Storm and her backside, and then you also have 2 big announcements coming from Lord Steven Regal. So if that's not a hot night of absolutely,
my man. Now I want to say this too about the Balor Cole match. We've seen it before. They always put on good shows, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Adam Cole might walk out with the belt tonight because I think all the storylines seem to be involving Adam Cole lately. What's going on with the Undisputed Era? And I have this feeling Finn Balor might end up on one of the other shows as we get approached to Mania.
I think the match is going to be too sweet.
Now we've also got Caden Carter versus Xia Li tonight, so that's interesting. I mean, it's not a big match, but Xia Li returning, Caden Carter starting to make her way in NXT.
I think they're turning Xia Li into a monster, and I think she's going to whoop the shit out of Caden Carter.
Now, if you want to preview AEW for us real quick.
Sure, man. We got should be no pun intended, dynamite of a match. Matt Jackson versus Ray Phoenix. And the reason why Joe told me probably to preview this, I will do my best on the following. We got Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Maki Ito.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's right. But I did some fucking prep work.
95%, brother.
Maki Ito. And I'm looking forward to that. And also, the inner circle, inner circle war council.
I like
tonight.
that he's tripping. He got all the Japanese names right, but English.
but
Sorry,
struggling,
brother, can't do it.
struggling with inner circle.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
I really don't care about that segment too much. That'll probably be good, but I'm just not really interested in it.
I think you and I are probably looking forward to speaking of disappointing debuts, I think you and I are looking forward to the same thing tonight, the debut of an Impact wrestler. But go ahead, give him the name.
Well, before that, there is one other big match that needs to be addressed tonight. Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. Scorpio Sky got the win in the big ladder match on the pay-per-view Sunday. That there was a wonderful Impact talent that debuted that I know will be there tonight, and I'm looking forward to. And that's All Ego Ethan Page. Super excited about that. And then, of course, we got another impactful talent that's been an Impact, WWE, and everywhere it's going to be tonight. The guy that can outwork anyone, Christian Cage.
So, hey, something that I've noticed lately with Scorpio Sky is that even when he was doing the broadcasting, he seems to be taking an edge to him and more of a heel turn. Sure. I'm looking for him to actually do something in that match tonight that's going to complete that heel turn versus Darby Allin tonight.
We still see. Darby's always getting a big push, big center. You know, Darby actually directed about 95% of that cinematic match. Apparently, Darby's a film major and actually had a huge part of that. And Sting, Tony Khan put their trust in him to pull that off. So
that's awesome. That's
breaking news.
I thought that is not breaking news. Breaking news is only what this guy says.
Oh, sorry.
All right, guys. Now let's go off there by doing what we do every week. What is the match that you're most looking forward to?
All right, I'll start off. Io Shirai, Toni Storm. To me, I'm just super excited about this. This is like two of the best women in the world, and I think they're going to tear it up.
We joke around a lot about obviously some of the attributes. Wow, Dave literally left on that.
Once we all pick our big match of the week, I was going to take us out.
Yeah, we joke around a lot about the attributes of Toni Storm, but that is going to be a hell of a match. That's not my match of the night, though. My match of the night for the money is Adam Cole versus Finn Balor. I think they're going to absolutely tear the house down.
Excellent. And I'll end my match of the night. Looking at everything, I got to give it to, it's got to be Finn Balor and Adam Cole. So, guys, join us again next week, and we will talk to you later.